Good morning, Vlog family. I'm doing another follow-up to KamlinLutherKilgrow, who he posted a response. I did not understand how this works, so I'm happy to talk to you directly. I appreciate your enthusiasm and optimism. I enjoyed my 7 months in Nicaragua. I failed to make it in Nicaragua and now live in a 98 Subaru wagon at the beach in San Francisco. I eat 1 chicken breast a day. Imagine the comedy movie that could be made. I drive a transit bus, and that's poverty as well. I'm no better off than those suffering in Nicaragua. For sure. I don't know how you do that. That's incredibly hard. That's awful. He said, I'm going to skip some of that stuff, but he says he was treated very well in Nicaragua, has great food, felt great when he lived here. He says nothing is automatic here. This is where some stuff is important. I honestly believe that the average person would need an attorney to survive, which is completely not true. You don't need an attorney for any normal thing. You do need them for your residency, but it's very straightforward, very quick, and very easy, and it's automatic. And if it's not, your attorney is not an attorney working for you. It's a scam. It is so easy. Everything should be so easy. Anything that isn't so easy and cheap, immediately it's a scam. Something's wrong. He says, but I'm a bus driver. I can't even negotiate YouTube. I must be bitter. I apologize. Need the uplink. He agrees the climate is mild. Food is healthy. You feel great here. It's a sweet country. He feels great. He's got a lot of good things to say. He says, my attorney there has not been able to get me my residencia. This is BS. You don't even need an attorney. I recommend one. I heavily recommend one, but only a legit one. Because he has residencia through retirement without being married, he has no issue. It'll cost a little bit, but very little. And he'll have his residencia. Okay, so a couple things. He's only been there 7 months, he said, which is not long enough to even talk about getting residency yet. You're not even close, right? 2 years is more, 1.5 to 2 years is where you stay before you start talking residencia. So that was the first thing. Not that you're not allowed to talk about it, but it makes no sense to talk about it that early. You get a 1.5 years, no problem as a tourist, and you get everything you want, everything you need is automatic, literally automatic. Like you just show up and you get it. So that's the first piece. Residencia hasn't come up yet in time. Secondly, even once it does come up, it can take 7 months, right? So the time period isn't right to have tried. Not that it's hard. It's just, it takes everything's paper here. Like when they say paperwork, they mean actual paper. So that was, that's the second piece. Third is that it's retirement. So it really is automatic, right? There's a few pieces of paperwork you have to show that you really are who you say, that you really have the money that you say. Otherwise, it is essentially automatic today. Like right now, if you moved right now, if he did this and moved down again, it's basically automatic, but he has to put in the requisite amount of waiting time. But because he's married, supposedly in Nicaragua, that is actually automatic, right? Like he does have to file for the residencia, but that is it. Any attorney should be able to do that in like a day. It'll take a little bit again to come through, but there's no waiting. There's no nothing. That is as easy as anything gets. If there's a hint of problem, it's the attorney. Move on to a legitimate attorney. Get away from whatever's going on. Don't keep staying in that situation. He says, without that, I can't imagine surviving here in Nicaragua, but I don't know what the residencia does for him. It does nothing. Everything you could possibly want, you have automatically without it. He says, I admire your ability to support a large family there as a foreigner. I have no idea how you do that. I can't, even with 75% Spanish. You are amazing. He's supporting many families with the money coming in. He just doesn't realize it, apparently. You have my respect and admiration. I wish you continued happiness. I fear I'll complete my life here, San Francisco, and never see my new family again. Thanks for showing the world the great things in Nicaragua. I know it's much harder there to get all that. It's just not, right? He's been scammed. Either all this is fake, or he's been scammed and is believing people who are ripping him off. He says, please forgive my bitterness. I lost everything. Oh, here's the part that is very important. I tried to survive in the car, and I send the rest of my wife who lives near Leon. So Leon is like the cheapest large city in the country, and near Leon borders on free. Like how cheap it is near Leon is outrageous. He says she burns through $2,000 to $2,500 every month at least. He's looking for a second job, but there's nothing. Okay, so she is burning through the income of 10 to 12 people per month. This is the one line that explains everything. He has someone who is stealing, right? This is a common scam. We're going to do a video about this in the upcoming days. Is a very standard scam that people will marry foreigners or date foreigners or whatever. There's loads of great people, but everyone knows that foreigners have a tendency to be uneducated, have no concept of money, think crazy things about Nicaragua, have been misled by the U.S. government traditionally. So when they get here, that information is all weird. they have no basis for comparison because they haven't spent enough time here. Often they're amazed by how beautiful the people are, that someone's willing to marry them. They jump into a relationship, and then people are like, wow, they're a cash cow, right? They'll just keep giving me money. The Americans don't realize that people live on $400, $500 a month as an entire family, no problem. Like, I mean, it's a struggle. It's terrible. I don't want to downplay how hard poverty is, but that this is how normal people live, and they're able to go out and go to restaurants and have lives and see live music and do things and raise families and be safe and get healthcare. They're way ahead of most Americans, which Nicaraguans don't realize. Nicaraguans think that Americans have all these things that they don't. Some do, but lots don't, and they don't realize that the poverty is different in different places. And so Americans will often be tricked into sending all this money. That, sure, that's fine if that's what you want to do. And if you want, your friends in Nicaragua to live baller lifestyles and you have the money to do that, absolutely go for that. That's fantastic. But if you don't have that money, no one needs this to live. No one needs that much money to live. No family needs that much money to live in Nicaragua. That is an outrageous amount of money. She's buying literally houses, businesses, cars, hiring staff. You're talking about people living absolute luxury conditions and acting like they're burning through that money. Yeah, anyone can spend money if that's what they want to do, but that's a crazy amount of money for a 24-year-old to be spending every month as a must-have amount of money. It just isn't reasonable.